Learning starts actually within a family. Also, eating starts within a family. So the educational system is then the second family for our children, where they get to out of the near borders of close family to a broader family. I saw that now when I'm doing this PhD research that learning has changed a lot. I don't look at it only from the point of view of education, but from the point of view of learning, because I think that learning is individual thing, personalized thing, and we have the full ownership, maybe not the children, but we as adults, we have the full ownership of how and where and with whom we would like to learn.
Welcome again to the podcast. I'm your host, Manal Zainuddin. This podcast highlights education communities from macro and micro angles. It's about leadership, learning, personal and professional growth, stories, interviews, talks, projects, and more coming up from around the globe. I always extend through this podcast Plutarch's famous quote, "The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled." I'm very pleased to have Vesna Alic today with us. Vesna is the director at Zavod ZRKP, Institute for the Development of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship in Slovenia. Vesna is passionate about promoting skills for sustainable agriculture and well-being. She is specialized in developing and implementing innovative solutions that address current and future challenges in the food and agriculture system in collaboration with a network of partners and stakeholders. She conducts research and evaluation projects to assess the impact and the effectiveness of various initiatives and programs that aim to foster a circular economy, smart agriculture, and IT support. Vesna holds a Master's of Sciences, Business Administration, MBA, and Bachelor of Sciences in Agriculture, and she is currently working on her doctorate degree at the University of Ljubljana Biotechnical Faculty, Interdisciplinary Doctoral Study Program, Biosciences, Scientific Field, Economics of Natural Resources. Vesna, I'm very excited to have you and start with one of the most loved sections to my heart on this podcast, the story of our guest. We would love to know how those milestones unfolded to make you who you are now.
Thank you, Manal, for the great introduction, and thank you for inviting me and for the time that we will talk about such an important theme as our food and our connection to nature. And let me start how I got to the agricultural field. Actually, I was born in a city and grew up in a city, but I found myself being in nature. I felt this connection to nature, and after finishing the high school, I decided to study agriculture, to be outdoor, to work in a field where our basic need comes from. This is our need for food. And during the studies, I shifted the perspective when our economics professor told us to look beyond just yield maximization, to see where the profits are in the agricultural production, maybe to see all other things that are important within agricultural production. And I was a first generation at the University of Ljubljana who were studying entrepreneurship in agriculture. And this gave me such an important sign to go and study business further. And I started to study my master's at the University of Ljubljana, Faculty of Economics. And this was on business and administration. It was an international studies with lots of fellow students from all over the world, India, Pakistan, Bulgaria. And it was very interesting. And then I decided to start my career, or it was maybe a call to start it within a corporate environment. And Later, I joined the Ministry of Agriculture and found myself at the university assisting the students in the subjects of marketing and economics. In my childhood, I always wanted to be an inventor. And deep down, I also found out that I am an entrepreneur by my heart. I'm interested very much in innovating for value creation. And in 2005, I've started my work within an Institute for the Development of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship. I'm also the founder of this institute. Our mission is to transfer the knowledge from research to the practice. In this 20 years or so, I'm cooperating a lot with farmers, trying to empower them mostly with their business operations. The last thing I would like to say about myself is the feeling of being a lifelong learner, knowledge and learning, and this heritage we are trying to give our future generations, to our children, and to our beautiful planet Earth.
This is amazing. I love everything you said, particularly the parts that said you are transferring research into practice. And this is exactly what we need. And this is exactly what we want to foster, actually, through learning and education. So, Vesna, let us start with agriculture, because this is the core of your professional journey. Now, agriculture, as we know it, provides the raw material for our food, and a large part of the world takes the food for granted, unfortunately, because it's available and appealing to our taste buds with all those, cook shows, cuisines, restaurants, food providers. A smaller part of the world can hardly find food for sustenance, and this is very saddening. But in both cases, food is the key here. So considering all what we are going through now, food waste, supply and demand, inflation, technology, food insecurity with agrochemicals, genetic engineering, and farm workers' rights and health. All of these factors, where do you think do we stand now?
Well, agri-food system is a very complex system with many stakeholders and many activities going on with it. You made a great point on this imbalance between having too much food and the part of the world which is struggling to get their basic needs fulfilled. So this is the energy part of our life to be fulfilled. Agriculture might not be that important in terms of economics perspective, but it's very important in covering these basic human needs, and it's very important in how we are in connection with nature, what we are doing, that our planet is shifting towards the good cooperation within nature. So I see that agriculture is also in this middle point when we are able actually to produce something that is needed to add value to this, and on the other hand to preserve our nature. So agriculture can be seen from societal point of view and also from the natural or the sustainability part of our ecosystem. And the food production faces big challenges in terms of what's going on Earth, like natural disasters, and the farmer who is the food producer at the basis is facing these big challenges. We all need to help him or to help family farms with their production in terms of getting our ownership, giving the feedback to them what actually is needed, and helping farmers and support them to choose the technologies which are aligned with the nature. And on the other hand, help him with the production which is taking into account the risks. When there is a flood or any kind of natural disaster, there is no production anymore and he doesn't get any income. We need all to tackle these disasters in the best possible way, that in a way that we will have something to eat for the future. And the
Yes.
farmer and his family are the core of this food production business. And I see farmer as an entrepreneur because he's facing many challenges, business challenges, technology challenges. He needs or she needs to manage the farm, manage the resources, and manage the people. And it should be in a very adaptive way, in like all the entrepreneurs facing complexity and facing many unknown situations.
Yes, you just jumped into entrepreneurship in agriculture, and this is another point we're talking about. Entrepreneurship has been a buzzword in the domains of technology and business, but you present it in a different way. You talk about a different type of entrepreneurs, which we really would love to know about, and I think you explained it very well now. Do you think we have the right level of awareness regarding entrepreneurship in agriculture and social entrepreneurship in general?
Well, I think that we should be aware that if we are not social entrepreneurs at the present moment, we will have to be tomorrow, and no later than the day after tomorrow, because we all need to face these huge challenges going around Earth, which we sometimes, or most of the times, we don't have so much influence on them, like natural disasters. But we need to provide a way how to face them and how to deal with them. And this is our common goal. And entrepreneurship, and especially social entrepreneurship, is at the basis of providing the ideas, providing the functions, and all the details that needs to be added to not only to live a perfect and nice life, but it's a necessity to cooperate, to co-create, not last, to build our common future together. Leadership, the creating value, flexibility, family farming in a way, not only as a food production, but also as a cooperation with nature and part of a cooperation within the society and for the society. And I think that an entrepreneur, especially a social entrepreneur, is the one who is flexible enough to fill those gaps or to fill those spaces in between the big things.
I think this is where the talk gets very exciting, because you are now talking about social entrepreneurship with regards to agriculture. And as you know, and as our listeners know, this podcast is mainly about education. And I've noticed that food education in schools is barely evident. Most of the time, it is occasional, for example, on international days with certain themes in their books only. And even this, it does not serve its target. So what do you think educators and leaders can do to promote food education and entrepreneurship with regards to food education? Because I find this very interesting.
I'm very much in favor of lifelong learning. I'm also myself a lifelong learner. It is a thing that it accompanies us for our whole lives, from the birth to the death. We will be learning to our last breath. And actually, learning starts actually within a family. Also, eating starts within a family. So the educational system is then the second family for our children, where they get to out of the near borders of close family to a broader family. I saw that now when I'm doing this PhD research, that learning has changed a lot. I don't look at it only from the point of view of education, from the point of view of learning, because I think that learning is individual thing. personalized thing, and we have the full ownership, maybe not the children, but we as adults, we have the full ownership of how and where and with whom we would like to learn. And for the children to follow up the nearer family to the broader family, there are many initiatives in schools, for example, in Slovenia also, where children have gardens near the schools, and they can produce, for example, vegetables, and then they have these cooking courses, and they get aware where our food is actually coming. So following later what children are learning in their young ages, we do it as well as adults. I specialized in innovative methods of learning for farmers, and I see that I used always as a trainer to push some kind of knowledge. Now, I think the learning point of view has shifted towards offering the knowledge or towards helping or gently directing farmers or social entrepreneurs or others to choose their knowledge and to build their own learning path. So I think that learning is going to another dimension, and this is also supported with this AI. We are all learning somehow. Even farmers who refuse official learning or formal learning, but they like to talk to each other. They question many questions, and they listen to the radio, read newspapers, and search through internet. So they are actually learning. And it's our responsibility as educators to bring them the knowledge they require, or help them to find the knowledge, or help them to join them together, that they transfer this knowledge even within themselves and within others. And this is the learning space is becoming the learning community from diverse sources and with diverse people, exchanging the knowledge, exchanging the ideas.
Well, I find this insightful. I fully echo what you have just said. And I loved from our prep talk last time, the way you focus on the concept of learning, and you explained that very well in connection to schools. And I think that's our power, when we can bring all of us together and foster our 4Cs, our collaboration, communication, creativity, and critical thinking, to not only just to solve problems, but to open ourselves up to each other so that we can bring to action those powerful practices. Thank you very much about this point in particular, Vesna. Vesna, I have also seen that you are also a judge in the Conrad Challenge. This is an annual innovation and entrepreneurship competition for students aged 13-18. I think these experiences have great significance. So would you tell us about those experiences and how they are helping in building and sharpening future skills?
Well, I think that in my age now, I have also the responsibility to give back or to try to empower young people. And the Conrad Challenge is an excellent opportunity to help giving the feedback to all the applicants, these young people who are eager to create our future world, and I'm there really to support them. But the thing that I think it's the most important is giving the feedback. This is when we got the preparation for being Conrad Challenge judges, experts who prepare us, especially focused on this part to give the feedback. And the feedback thoughts that we give to the students, and they really liked this part, because we are like pinging back their ideas and trying to support them to give broader value to their ideas, to develop these ideas, to support them with this, adding the ideas. There are sometimes a lot of applications, too many. I really like to focus on each of them because everything is important. I like giving feedback in two ways. First of all is to tell the young people who are competing in Conrad Challenge what I think, what is the good thing that they focused on. To point out at least 3 things that they were able to see. And I think they are positive. And on the other hand, it's not, talking about negative things or the bad things. They will go away anyway. But it's to talk about the future broadening the idea, giving the future directions and trying to ask them back in a way that they are able to find their own way for their ideas. It's a 2 parts. First of all, giving the positive feedback and to point the focus points which are important. And the second one is to help them search for other opportunities or for other ideas.
Fantastic. This is constructive feedback, and you are not only highlighting their assets, you are also avoiding deficits, but you are opening the way for them to explore where they can build on the knowledge that they presented. This is so important in education, and I think you're doing it very well. And I'm confident that those, whether they are students or just competitors, they are learning so much from experts like you. Vesna, I wish we had more time to take this conversation even further. As an educator who works by an interdisciplinary through transdisciplinary approach, I find that experts like you and these fields that are not usually discussed in education are very important to discover from a true scientist, true scientific lens, and an authentic way of practice. So Vesna, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for the invitation. I really enjoyed discussing these important points of view.
We end up with the open-ended question from our guest, Vesna Alic. She's the founder and director at Zavod ZRKP, the Institute for the Development of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship in Slovenia.
As humans, we have the power and we have also the responsibility to co-create our future together through peaceful and respectful way, and to go together and cooperate also with nature in order to preserve our beautiful green and blue planet in a sustainable way, because we owe it to our children.